I am Chailyn Edwards, and my obscure yet phenomenal moment in Black history is the life and legacy of Alberta Odell Jones. Alberta Odell Jones, a political activist and advocate for the African American community, a remarkable Black woman. Jones was born on November 12, 1930, to Sarah Sadie Frances Crawford and Odell W. Jones. She had two older brothers, Collier Jones and Calvin Andrew Jones. Jones grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. She spent the majority of her life here and only traveled for schooling, activism, or work. Jones was summoned to be a witness at 14 on a case in Louisville's Domestic Relations Court. The facts of the case were not digitally documented, however, the case likely involved family or marital issues of a family Jones knew. The experience was likely Jones' first encounter with the justice system and may have prompted her interest in law. Jones attended Louisville Central High School and the Louisville Municipal College for Negroes, where she majored in accounting. Jones was third in her class, maintaining high marks and foreshadowing her work ethic for future endeavors. Jones participated in the debate team and the Louisville Wesley Club in school, no doubt sharpening her skills both as a lawyer and as an advocate. This is likely why Jones pursued law instead of accounting. Jones attended the University of Louisville School of Law but ultimately transferred to Howard University in Washington, D.C. Her transfer brought her closer to the political scene in D.C. and offered up opportunities beyond the likes of her small hometown college, an example being her volunteer work to help draft legislation for congressmen. Jones graduated fourth in her class, once again excelling in her scholastic efforts and putting her best foot forward towards a successful future. Jones took the Kentucky State Bar in 1959 and was famously quoted, "If I had known how much was depending on me, I would have studied harder and worn something different," when told by Vincent Goodlett, secretary of the State Board of Bar Examiners, that she was the first Black woman to take the exam and therefore the first Black woman to pass the Kentucky State Bar. Soon after, Jones began practicing law. Her most monumental client was Muhammad Ali, who went by Cassius Clay at the time. Muhammad Ali was a decorated, successful sports professional and viewed as controversial both within the realms of sports and politics, so he undoubtedly opened the world's eyes to Jones when she defended him in court. Allegedly, her involvement with Muhammad Ali was the reasoning behind her murder. However, she passed away a few years before his title was threatened, so it is unlikely. Jones was murdered in August of 1965. Her body was discovered in the Ohio River, an autopsy report displaying that she was knocked unconscious through blows to the head before she drowned, undeniably to ensure no potential of surviving the drop from the Sherman-Minton Bridge. Despite so many considerable pieces of evidence, such as witnesses claiming to have seen three men tossing a body, Odell's car being parked on the bridge in which the scene was stated, and fingerprints found in Jones' car decades later, the case still remains an unsolved murder. The potential suspects were falsely proclaimed dead, thus they were not pursued by the police at the time. In 2017, efforts were made to reopen the Jones case and it became a cause célèbre. Detectives involved in the initial investigation were interviewed in the possibility that new leads had surfaced over the 52 years since the killing. The Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice also began an investigation. The investigation is funded by a new law, the Emmett Till Unsolved Civil Rights Crime Act, which offers $13.5 million annual funds to the Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and state and local law enforcement agencies to investigate and prosecute pre-1970 killings. Nevertheless, the injustice of Jones' death is only part of her story, and a small part at that, as she was aware of many hats in the African American community during her time on Earth. Her death is so symbolic of the tragic injustices experienced by the African community, whereas her life is an exemplar of Black excellence no matter the obstacle. In 1960, Jones became a practicing attorney, a defender of the public in the courtroom. In 1961, Jones created the Independent Voters Association, which registered 6,000 African American voters. Throughout the years 1962 to 1963, Jones attended many civil rights marches in Louisville as well as the March on Washington. Jones was an active member of the Louisville Urban League and the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. In 1964, Jones was appointed city attorney in Jefferson County, located in Louisville, becoming the first woman of any race to hold that position. In 1965, Jones was appointed prosecutor for the Domestic Relations Court in February, being the first woman and first person of color to hold that position. This was a full circle moment, placing Jones back into the courtroom that she had testified in when she was younger, 2 decades later, as an attorney. Though her career was short-lived, Jones had an extremely positive impact in her political community. Jones was a member of the American Bar Association, the Falls City Bar Association, and the Louisville Bar Association. Jones also did philanthropy in her community, establishing the James Bulkey Welch Fund by holding a fundraiser that paid for the prosthetic arms of a young man who had lost them attempting to retrieve his dog from under a train. In the 1940s and 1950s, it was typical of a woman to marry before she turned 25, yet Jones occupied herself with advocacy instead. Though this unusual in that time of society, Jones was not usual. She was extraordinary to the utmost extent, focusing her eyes on the health and wealth of racial equity instead, and dedicating her life's work to delivering justice. Jones' story lives on today in medias of all forms. Articles in 2020 that focused on the injustice of murdered African Americans from ABC News and The Root, podcasts such as an episode of Murder News released in 2021, and an upcoming documentary to be released in 2023 titled Murder of a Trailblazer by Keenan Conigland, who has also released a screenwrite about Jones' life. Alberta Odell Jones' life and legacy lives on, and she will remain an unforgettable, obscure yet phenomenal Black woman in history. Photo credits and sources. Hope you learned something new today. Thanks for watching.